All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. It's the Musings and Music Show, as usual. The Musings part of the Musings and Music Show. And we are glad to have you on there listening and eventually watching, because that's how it goes. We do the listening part, and then later on, you'd have the video available to watch. So this is EGBE MBIWAN MONJIMBO coming to you on Vosaworld Radio, and possibly on later on down the road on the Vosaworld TV channel on YouTube. I have a distinguished guest with me here today, and I'm going to ask him, because I barely met him 2 days ago, my own self. So I'm going to ask him to go ahead and just introduce himself. So who are you, sir?
Victor MBARIKA. I'm honored to be on your show, and I'm so excited we got to meet virtually just a couple of days ago. And I am a professor of information technology and also president of the board of trustees of the ICT University with its campuses in several developing nations.
Wow, that's impressive right there, because obviously you're a very young man. Look at you there. You're a very young man, and to have that record already at this age, if you don't mind me asking, how old are you?
Oh my goodness, I'm in my 40s. I think that's all I will say. And,
and they have the nerve to blame us women that we hide our age. Here he goes. I'm just kidding.
We hide ours. I'm in my 40s, but I've been very blessed. I finished my education fairly young, in my mid-20s, when I finished my PhD. I got the privilege to, by God's grace, go do my bachelor's, master's, and PhD all in 5 years, and became a professor at a very young age in my early 30s. So
that is what is amazing. That's I was going to bring that up here, Professor. It says PhD right there by next to your name. And at 40, the people who are barely beginning that cycle at that 40. So that is really impressive. So when did you do this? When did you do your training, or most of it? Was it all in the United States, or where exactly?
Yeah, my graduate school was in the US, but my bachelor's was at the American University in Kenya, what they call the United States International University in Nairobi. And then I moved to Chicago at the University of Illinois for my master's, and then Auburn University for my PhD. So it's been a nice mix of 3 different universities on 2 different continents.
And we all know that that's how you expand your knowledge. Even simple, just travel to somewhere, that's how you expand your knowledge. So you're not just a book professor theory thing. You actually are what they call an educated person. Because some people don't understand, you go get some certificates and things. It's not the same as being a well-educated individual. But the reason you're on here, though, is to talk about ICT, which I would say, when somebody sent me the video of ICT, I was going, how come it does not say forwarded many times? You know how when you get a thing on WhatsApp, if it has been forwarded a lot, it starts to read forwarded many times. What I received that says forwarded many times is somebody walking around the street without any clothes on, crazy, a ghastly accident somewhere that has happened with everybody, a dismembered person showing. But then I'm going, wow, this exists, and how come we didn't know about it? And I'm sure our listeners and our viewers are going, ICT, what exactly is that? What does the acronym stand for, to start with?
Information and communication technology.
Okay.
Put simply, we are talking about technology, right? In all its senses, whether it's computers or self-driving cars. We are all in it. We do everything at ICT University, including recently we brought together secondary school students and we're teaching them robotics and artificial intelligence. So we want to make sure that the developing world gets exposed to modern technologies that are very useful, or that the developed world has been enjoying for many, many decades, but in the context of those developing nations. So we don't just take the technologies from the US, from Europe, and throw them in Africa, but we redesign them in a way that fits the African reality. So most of our campuses are based in African countries. So like, take for example, our online learning systems that we develop, we make sure that they can run in in the developing countries that do not have very high bandwidth. Their internet connectivity is quite slow. So you cannot use the same type of platforms that you use in Europe and the US in those countries because the speed of the internet is not very, very good. So you have to redesign it in a way that fits that context of slower speeds, but still getting value out of it. So that is
very
our
smart
approach of technology. While people may use it in America to make their lives easy, to give an order and their coffees boiled before they get home. Well, in the African context, we want to redesign technology in a way that people can use it to help them make a living. Like
it's adapted to that specific milieu.
Absolutely, like in Mali, we have nomads that instead of taking their cows from the hills all the way down to the market, now they all have smartphones. They take pictures of the cows, they send to the market. If someone really wants to buy, they already place the order of the cows they really want, and the nomads bring those cows, specific ones that they have ordered, to the market, as opposed to taking the whole herd.
The whole herd.
You know,
oh my goodness. That is the smartest thing I've heard in a long time.
Yeah. So we adopted in that context there, and that is what makes this very, very exciting.
It is exciting. I'm looking at it. I'm listening to it myself now. I'm feeling very excited for what we call the Ghana call. The Ghana call. Yes. Very modernized kind of one now. Ghana call with the stick, and now with a cell phone. That makes it so much easier to move. Instead of moving the whole head, as you said.
A lot of them have smartphones. May not have the best formal education in the world, but
in that milieu, what do you need that for? In that milieu, he doesn't need it. He doesn't need the formal education. What he needs is that smartphone. And then having raised his cows well to fit, then you take it, it's custom made. So you just like you order from a catalog. You order from a catalog, you look at Macy's and you say, I want this suit, I want so and so thing. Now you just see the cows and you want this one.
Yes.
That is amazing. I'm so glad to hear that. How long has ICT been existing for?
ICT University originally started as an online university in 2010. Then in 2012, we started establishing physical campuses.
And where do you have those?
In Uganda, in Cameroon, and we are developing some in Nigeria, as well as Chad as we speak. In fact, the equipment for the campus in Chad should be arriving in the next few days. And so we got our authorization to start the university in 2012, and then in 2014, that's when we received our full accreditation. And in the case of Cameroon, by the grace of God, we were one of only, I think, 2 universities, ICT University and the Catholic University in Yaoundé, one of only 2 private universities accredited to offer degrees from bachelor's all the way to PhD. So we're very, very excited about that, you know, and
I'm excited right along with you, even if I'm selling after the market, as they say, because I wasn't aware that it existed, but I'm very excited to hear that. And trying to do my little homework before this, I watched a couple of videos and things, went onto the website. It looks as, talking about tailor-made things and customized things, I noticed that there is a French-speaking section and an English-speaking section in the Cameroon campus there in the university. Tell us a bit about that.
Yes, last year, of course, we have been operating purely as an English university, English-based university, running kind of an American-based curriculum. Now we take that same American-based curriculum and we teach the same courses, the same programs, the same labs to people that come from a Francophone background. So we have a completely new Francophone section with a new chancellor to run that section, Professor oh my goodness, how can my friend's name skip off?
It happens.
my mind now that I'm on an interview.
Yeah,
Pierre
yeah,
Fonqua, Professor
yes.
Pierre Fonqua runs
Mhm.
the Francophone section,
Right.
and with great support from other Francophone staff members. So we have students that come in and they will spend their first 2 years in the Francophone section, but the goal is to slowly integrate them by year 3 to join the Anglophone section, so they are perfectly bilingual by the time they complete.
Right. And I guess because obviously, for the obvious reason for getting them to finally integrate into the English section is because the IT world primarily runs in English.
Oh, there's no argument about it. Not just the IT world, the research world, period. Once you go to masters and PhD, even in great countries like Germany that really value their culture, you see a lot of postgraduate programs are taught in English.
Right.
The best research books, the best technology books, the best technologies come from English-speaking countries. That is absolutely a fact, yes.
I was going to ask you a question which you kind of have already answered by describing what your university is. You've almost answered the question I was going to ask you, to say, how does ICT stand out compared to other universities? Is there more to add to this? Because you've already said a lot that puts it above the bar. So I'll just go ahead and ask the question anyway, because I already prepared it. So how does it stand? How is it different? Why would I want to go to ICT university and not another one?
There are tons of graduates from many universities across the world. And to be fair, this is not just an African problem that graduate to go and look for jobs. ICT University, we train entrepreneurs. We train you to create your own businesses. And that is why many of our students come out, and instead of going around looking for jobs, they create their own employment and create employment for others. We have a whole video covering some examples of some of our students that own their own businesses. In fact, one of our students is so successful, she even made it onto Forbes magazine. Forbes magazine, you know, recently.
The Forbes magazine that we know.
The Forbes magazine, a student from Cameroon, young lady, and she's now, she's so accomplished now. The US government is bringing her here for a few weeks of training, fully paid and everything.
Wow.
Those are the type of things we distinguish ourselves. We don't have lecturers walking into class, pocketing their hands and dictating notes. We don't approach that. We take students to labs. They learn hands-on practical stuff. So when they come out, they are immediately useful in society.
They are ready to be integrated into the job market. They are market ready. They are ready to be productive.
Yes, they are market ready, but first of all, they are entrepreneurially ready. They are ready to start their own businesses.
Correct.
We always say to our students, creating your own job is our first priority. And if you decide to, go look for a job from somewhere else. And don't get me wrong, many of them are employed in very good places. I mean, WHO, World Bank, etc. We have students in great organizations, Cameroon government, we have top directors. In Nigeria now, some of our graduates, Nigeria and Uganda, that finished PhD with us are deans of top universities like Makerere.
Wow.
Okay, so, and these are graduates from the Cameroon campus, and we are so proud of them. And so we distinguish ourselves with our fruits, with what we have that have come out. We are very, very proud of them.
With good reason.
And we are thankful for all the support we get from many, many African governments, starting with the government of Cameroon.
All right. So I was going to ask exactly how it works. Are the students sponsored? Do they get scholarships? How does it go? What are the options open to somebody who would be interested in studying at ICT?
Yeah, most of the students are self-sponsored, but there are some that are sponsored by their countries. Some are, like a lot of our Ugandan students are sponsored by the government of Uganda. We have a student from Mali sponsored by the Swiss Corporation. She is from this area that have those nomads. In fact, her research is about technology with the nomads. The Swiss Corporation sponsors her. Wow. We have students, we've had students sponsored by the Cameroon government, not a lot, but some. but a lot of students are self-sponsored. We try to keep the fees as low as possible, knowing that we are in a developing country. But cost of studying at our institution for students that have gone to private schools, like where you went to, the Great Seca Baptist College or CPC Bali. If students could afford going there, most of them can afford coming to us for
right. Especially if you think about what it's going to yield down the road. It's a good investment to go and get that training because it's going to pay off. The dividends are there when you get that education and now go on and become your own person, run your own business, or as you said, possibly work for somebody else. So talking accreditation, the course of study you said was adapted from here, from the United States. So they can be sure that when they get a diploma, when they get a certificate, when they get a degree, it's going to be acknowledged, it's going to be recognized anywhere in the world. Is that the case?
That's the beauty of the ICT University. We are evaluated by all the top evaluation agencies, be it ECE, WES, all these US organizations. Many of them, they evaluate transcripts from ICT University, and students get to do, those that want to come here. If they don't want to do our master's or PhD, they come and do it here in the US.
And they can easily just go, because that's, if you call those two companies you call, that's exactly where I sent my own credentials to, for them to do the equivalence. Exactly.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. So for example, I got a call, I think a week ago, from one of our students that graduated from the Cameroon campus, and he just got a full scholarship to do his PhD at University of Massachusetts, which is one of the great universities in the country.
Wow.
So he's now here doing his PhD in computer science, and I know he will be very, very successful. We have students in Australia. I don't think there is a continent in the world without our graduates.
So they graduate from ICT.
Yeah, graduates from ICT.
That is awesome.
All over the world now. We are so proud of them. They are doing well. The essence is they are doing very well where they are.
But that's why it's continuing to be that way. They set themselves a reputation. So now, and that's how things work. When you set a reputation, the first students that come out of there do well, the next set, that's how you build a reputation. People learn to know. That's how all the Harvards and the Yales and the Princetons work. The people who come out of there, sorry.
They come back. The beauty is they come back and give back to ICT University. Amazing. We have a great alumni. They come back, they help the university, they support the university, they come even give talks to the younger ones that are
and mentor.
Some of them use their money for things related to the university. I'm very, 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 very proud of them. We have a great alumni.
That is awesome. So, which means now what that means for one of the reasons why I wanted you to come on here, of course, is for people to understand, both in Cameroon, where it may be better known, but especially out here in the diaspora, where many of us, we have nephews, nieces, cousins, and they say, we want to come on out here. They want to come on out here to the States to come and go to school. And probably you'll be spending all those millions just for the air ticket, for the airline ticket to start with, and then the tuition here. If they are aware that ICT is there, then that is a viable option for where to send your student to go and know that they're going to get the same quality education that's available here.
Absolutely, yes. That's the beauty about it. So rather than, and I have nothing against people bringing their relatives here, by all means. But if you want them to get the same quality of education they can get in any US institution, and get it for one-sixth of the cost, they can do it in Cameroon. Right. You know, I mean, the cost of studying at our university is like $1,000 for a whole year.
Wow. Okay. That's not even the price of the ticket, just the ticket to come on out here.
Oh, absolutely. The master's and PhD is a little higher. It's about $2,000 a year. But still, compare that to trying to come here and doing your MBA. MBA programs are in this country anywhere from $20,000 to $75,000 a year.
And that is just the tuition. You're not talking about upkeep.
You know, and they get quality education there.
Hands-on. Hands-on, it's not a matter of like you just learn a bunch of theoretical things and do not know how to know the practicals of it. They actually get the hands-on, which means they have lots of laptops are available. They have everything is available to them there.
Absolutely, like all students that will come in this fall, all of them will get a free laptop.
Wow.
Nothing to do with their tuition, they will be given a free laptop. And they also have opportunities to get free tablets, Android tablets. If they perform good in one way or another, they give them free tablets in one way or another. There are conditions to get it, but there are opportunities to get it. A free laptop is guaranteed by just coming.
Wow.
But there's a free tablet given to every student that fulfills certain conditions. So they can study from the campus, they can study from their homes. We make sure they are very well equipped, and they can operate from anywhere they want to operate. So it's a great opportunity. Even people in the diaspora that may want to advance their education. Remember, I was just going to ask that. All our degrees are recognized in the US. So rather than spend tens of thousands of dollars doing your degree in other countries, in the US or in Europe, you can still do it from ICT University.
After all, it is recognized. That's a thought that never even occurred to me to think, oh yes, I was talking about bringing your nephew and your niece and your cousin to come do this stuff. What about you yourself? You could actually go ahead and get one of these programs, get into one of these programs. Just, can you give a quick, maybe, I'm sure you cannot list all of them. What are the kind of programs that are available that somebody can take? You mentioned the MBA already. What else is there, basically?
Yeah, even before the list, one of the things I'm very proud of is during our graduation, we see people from Europe, people from the US, they come all the way to Cameroon to graduate. Some of them are African, some are not. So I'm very, very proud of that, by the way. It has been my dream that we will have people from outside of Africa come to Africa to do their studies and graduate in Africa, as opposed to, so their abroad is Africa. Our abroad from Africa is here. So those are the things we've always wanted to accomplish. And, and I'm very proud that my team and I will be able to do that by God's grace. So we have several programs from the bachelor's all the way to PhD. One of our most recent programs that may interest many people is the Master's and PhD in Development Planning. Okay. We have bachelor's, master's, and PhD in different areas of ICT, computer science, software engineering, information systems, and networking, telemedicine used in the medical arena. We have a program in engineering, specifically in the area of renewable energy.
Wow.
Solar energy, wind energy, those things.
The things that are really relevant to our context there in Africa. Because back in the day, yes. First of all, back in the day, in my own Guayaquil days, don't even mention it. You had the Faculty of Science, you go and you grille your manda there after 7 years of trying to do there. You go and to do in Faculty of Letters, English, bilingual studies, and that's it. Very limited programs in that one little university to start with. And then even when they gave scholarships, the scholarships were for some kinds of fields of study where it was obvious you would not be wanting to come back and do anything with that, because when you come back, where do you plan on being employed with your degree in aerospace engineering? Where in Cameroon do you plan on working with that kind of a degree? You are going to end up getting stuck here, or when you came on back, you couldn't find where to work. That is the issue with some of the things. Just getting an education for education's sake and getting an education that you can actually use usefully and help to develop your own country and help it move forward. And so are people responding to it, more and more people? Have you seen a growth in the attendance, people coming, gravitating towards it? Have you seen that growth? Have you seen that mindset change to say, consommer Camerounais? Stay home or consume whatever country or other campus that you have this thing. Are you seeing people take that as an option? Are they responding well?
Oh, absolutely. Of course, any initiative from the start, people start questioning its authenticity and so on. So that happened also in the earlier years. But at least in Cameroon, where I can comfortably say in Cameroon, we're a household name.
Right.
And we get a lot of applications, and yes, we have huge demand for our programs in Cameroon, including people from Cameroon's National Assembly and Cameroon Senate. You know, it's amazing. We get applicants for PhD that are senators in
Right.
Cameroon. So we are very proud of that. We are humbled by that. We have top government officials whose kids apply and come to school there.
Right.
And so yeah, it's really growing, and we are very proud of what is happening. And we really get a good backing also from the government. We are thankful to them, and from businesses that send their students to our school,
Right.
like NFC Bank. Many of their employees are sponsored by that bank in Yaoundé to do their MBA with us, for example. We have some NGOs that are in the medical arena that send their workers to us to do masters and PhD in public health. We have MPH PhD, okay, public health. They come and do that. So we have like the British Council that pays for people to come do a development planning. So there is a huge demand, not just from individuals, but even from organizations that want to have their staff trained. In fact, recently, we just finished a training with the Korean embassy to give them basic IT training. So the demand is high. I want to point out that even before Africa, our highest demand for our programs, you will not believe this, has been from India. We've trained over 60,000 people in India alone in what we call digital literacy.
Wow.
Teaching them basic.
Because we sit here, we think India is it. That you get everything right.
So there's this idea that India is the great IT hub, and which it is. The ICT University has played a major role. When the current Prime Minister of India was the governor of the state of Gujarat, I always thank him on my TV interviews, because he was the one that signed, that pushed for the agreement where we did a lot of our digital literacy training in his state when he was governor of Gujarat. And we trained tens of thousands of students there in the state of Gujarat. Wow.
And I'm sitting here, I guess, and I'm pretty sure I'm not the only ignorant one, because if it had been that well known out here, I wouldn't be this much unaware of it for something that has been there for quite a while, which is why I wanted you to come. It's just 2 days ago I heard about this, and I said, do you mind coming to sit down and let's just talk about it so more people can know about ICT? And then I'm going to try now to see if I can, because I was watching a video before we started this chat, and I'm going to see if I'm able to share my screen and find it and then say what actually wowed me that I saw. So you let me know if I end up messing up and getting to someplace else. I want to see if I can find it here. Let me see. I think this is going to be the website. I think it's that I'm on. Let me see whether I can share. What do you see? What I'm sharing there?
Yes, I do.
So that is your website. That very impressive, very modern. You can tell something because you can see sometimes you look at the website, is the obsolete olden days thing. It doesn't have anything to envy from any of the universities out here in the States. But if I scroll right here, this is what I saw. This image right here.
Oh, yes.
You can see where my cursor is right there. That image right there. And I recognize this individual. I know those who are listening on radio cannot tell who that is because they cannot see it yet. So who is that person, just for you to go ahead and tell us?
Yeah, that is former Nigerian president, His Excellency Olusegun Obasanjo. That picture there is our last graduation, which took place a month and a half ago. And he was the commencement speaker, the keynote speaker at the graduation. He flew to Cameroon to give the graduation speech. And I'm very thankful to him. I'm thankful to the Cameroon government that helped to welcome him at the airport and so on. And he was very well treated. He left Cameroon very happy, and he gave a great speech, which I really encourage everyone to go to our website or our Facebook and listen to his speech.
This is that page right here. And I see that I can click. Let me go ahead and try to click right here and see what we hear from this right here. I hope the sound is going to be good enough. I'm going to click on the play button right here and see if we can hear some of that speech at least. So give me a second. Let me click right there and see. Okay, let me actually even make the full screen and let's see. Let me raise the volume.
Founder and President of ICT University, for all the good things you have said about me. Very touching. I must thank you, though, that you didn't refer to me as general. You refer to me as doctor. You refer to me as chief. You refer to me as professor. You refer to me as president. You even remember to refer to me as farmer. Maybe you forget. Maybe it's deliberate. But I am happy that you didn't refer to me as general. Because when I was in politics, those who want to make sure that they run me down, that I'm not a Democrat, they refer to me as general. And it's only those who are my friends and who are my allies in politics that refer to me as chief or even as president.
All right, just for the time being, I'm going to go ahead and stop the share for now. Wow, that's impressive, because I believe if I had just told somebody, oh, Olusegun Obasanjo was at this university, maybe they wouldn't have believed me, or they wouldn't have believed me. So I thought, let me go ahead and let them take a look and see for themselves that he came all the way. So definitely, he is a man who has a reputation to keep. He will not be convinced to go to some, as they say, university.
It's a long time not heard that word.
He will not be convinced to go to that kind of university and mess up his reputation there. So if you see him going over there, that is what really made me go, oh, wow, really? And say, this is not a joke. And you said this was just a month and a half ago.
Yes, just a month, July 31st to be precise.
Oh, I think let me hold on a second. I may have, because the sound suddenly went off. Let me make sure that I have you still on. I think I have you on now. Let's try and hear. Can you hear me?
So it was July 31st, 2021, like about a month and a half ago.
Right, and that was the graduation ceremony?
Yes, the SIP graduation ceremony, yes.
All right. So when does the new school year start? Is it the rentrée scolaire? When is it?
Oh, our school year, which is our fall semester, starts in October. So like mid-October. So right now, we are taking applications for our new school year, which starts in October. However, this is one thing that distinguishes ICT University from other institutions in much of Africa. We admit 3 semesters a year, just like in the US. So you can join in the fall, in the spring, or in the summer. So even if your relatives or you cannot make it this October, you can always send them to start for the January, February session or the July summer session. So we bring in students 3 times a year.
That is just, I'm looking at it and saying all the things that we, the things that we did not like, that were lacking, let me just say that were lacking back in my day, my college, my university experience out there. This ICT seems to have just fixed all of that. Because if you start, look, you took the exam in June. If you failed it, you could come back in September and take it. And if you failed it, that was it. You do the entire year over.
Right.
Nothing like going back somewhere in the middle and trying to get whatever it is. Another thing I was going to ask, can you kind of amass your credits the way this year where you can go get your credits? The credits are valid. whenever you come back for whenever semester, the credits, within reason, of course, you cannot go get some credits now in 2000, and then want to come back and use those credits again now to finish. But I mean, reasonably, within reason, like it happens here, you take a course, you start, get some credits, and that they're going to be valid a little further down, even if you cannot go the very next semester. Is that how it works too?
Absolutely the same. So we believe a degree is you've accumulated a certain body of knowledge, right? So if you have covered a couple of semesters and you have a difficulty, a family problem, or maybe you are sick, you can take time off and then come back and continue from where you left off. If you fail, undergraduates take 6 courses, 18 credit hours per semester, 3 credit hours each. Mm-hmm. If you fail one course, you have an opportunity to retake it in the subsequent semester, in a receipt or the subsequent semester. So you don't have to wait an entire year because again, the goal is you acquiring a certain body of knowledge. So we don't have the typical, I don't know if I'll call it a Francophone system where it's bac plus 2, bac plus tel, but it's acquiring a certain body of knowledge in order to complete your degree program. Which
is exactly what it ought to be. Not that kind of stiff, strict thing where it was so bad. Women were there with belly about to pop and going into labor in the exam room and not wanting to go to the hospital because somebody's water broke. They're sitting there trying to finish because if they don't get it done now, that's it. A whole academic year is wasted.
Oh, wow.
That's how it used to be.
I did
so it's somebody there with this big old belly rolling up the hill there, or up the hill
right
in Guakile, trying to get this thing done because it's now or never kind of a thing.
I'm told that you guys had a very good restaurant there in those days. I used to see my elder ones, my uncles going there and my aunties, and they would tell me they had a good resto.
The resto idea was to go get the meat. I can tell you that me and my roommate Asheri Kilo, Dr. Fofung now, we would go because they had huge quantities of the food itself, but of course, blandly cooked. We eat spicy as Africans. So what we used to do is go get the meat itself, huge chunks of it. You bring it back to your room now, cut it up and spice it well, put all the junction that needs to go inside, crayfish, put the things inside and make your own thing. That's what was good about the resto. You could actually
like that.
The thing and come and doctor it, come and fix it up really well. And then of course we had FC back in the day. FC, like the money that we were paid to go, boy, in those days were interesting.
That money finished before some of us started. So
I think we were the last year that actually went off with that FC thing. Right behind us, the robinet, there was click clack, and that was the end of it. So there was a lot. I wouldn't trade my Guayaquil experience for anything. It was very teaching, very enriching. But Lord knows, in terms of academics, that was not the best thing. All kinds of things used to happen there that were not quite ethical. And that were not, a whole library. They give you an assignment and there is one book or maybe 2 copies of it in the thing. So you go and you try to take and then if somebody has the book, then what are you going to do? It's not even in a day and time when, so they used to go try and do a photocopy of the thing. Or the professor has his polycop. So he's written this book, and that is the thing that you have to use to study and reproduce that. So it wasn't, especially in the science and in the law, where there was a lot of theory kinds of things, as opposed to other places where it should have been more practical. I do not know about how many labs and things were going on there. People were agreeing their mandats and all. So this is like light years ahead of what I was used to or what I learned from what's going on in the other faculties of science and everything, besides which IT, computer technology, is pretty recent. So there was not a case of having that kind of stuff there now. I do not know quite how it is. I hear there's a SOA now, there's a Camp Yaoundé 2. I don't know how many Yaoundés there are there, but I'm hoping and guessing it has improved. But I bet maybe not to the extent that that ICT has, which is why I want to commend you for what you've been able to achieve. So what is your official position within ICT? What's your official title?
Yeah, I'm the president of the board of trustees. I'm the founder, of course. I'm I'm president of the board of trustees of the ICT University, and in the earlier years of it, I raised a lot of the funding for it, but it's self-sufficient now. It's operating on its own. And so I just chair the board. I don't have an official administrative role in the university. However, I am very involved in making sure that my vision is kept, the standards are kept up. You don't want an institution where you are talking about ethical things are really abused and so on, where women are harassed or students are harassed and things like that. You want students to be in a comfortable, fun environment. If you go to our campus, and please, whenever you go to Cameroon, I want to invite you to visit. You will love it. We've made it like a mini resort. You have water fountains, you have flat chairs for people to lie on and relax. We have umbrellas around. You have all our seats are leather seats for our students, nicely comfortable in an executive environment. Classrooms, several of them air conditioned, carpeted. We just want to make sure students are in a comfortable, executive feel-like environment.
Yep, that's how you study best. That's how you study best.
So you will not see these funny wooden desks and benches, like, no, we don't do that. We want to keep top quality stuff so the students can have a feel of a university top standard like anywhere in the world, and no one ever should complain about the lack of equipment, because we make sure every 3 months we evaluate the state of our equipment. If something is needed, we make sure we provide it. So I'm very involved with the institution in that way to ensure that the standards are kept top notch.
Excellent, excellent, because that is how you're going to keep the reputation where it should be, where people can actually trust it and say, okay, if I go here and I'm going to get myself a stellar education that's comparable to any other part of the world. And he's not just saying it. I looked at that website myself and I saw it for myself. The website where I just went a second ago and played the video with Chief, he doesn't want to be called General, Chief Olusegun Obasanjo. Go back to that website and take a look for your own self. It's ICT. Can you give us the URL so people can go check it out? What is the actual URL for that site I just was on?
It's ICT University, that's one word, ictuniversity.edu as education.cm, CM for Cameroon. CM.
Right, you see, .edus, we are used to .edus here, that's what the university system here goes. It's very, very, I'm very pleased to hear what I'm hearing right there. I found it in 2 seconds here, you'll find it too. I just don't know about that much screen sharing. There was one video I also saw.
Yes.
Is that guy really blind, the guy that I saw in that video?
Absolutely. We gave scholarships to a number of blind students, visually impaired students, a couple of years ago, and some of them have started classes with us. The goal is to show that being visually impaired doesn't mean you can't do anything else with your life. So they have joined our master's and PhD program, and we will end up recruiting them as professors at our university. It's part of our corporate social responsibility. We are so excited. They are very hardworking. We love them, and they're on full scholarship with us. We do things like that.
Right.
But he's totally blind, totally.
The one I saw was so eloquent, so very well spoken. And that's the thing about the students that I saw there. It's not as if they just have one, so you go and grab one and that is your showcase person. No, there's a whole string of them. I just don't want to keep sharing the screen here over and over again before I end up losing you in the process, because I can be maladroit like that. I go hit some button there and poof, off you go. And I'm sitting there smiling at the video, and then so I don't want to do too much of the sharing of the screen, but I'm asking anybody who's listening, anybody who's watching, go and look. You'll see the videos abound out there. with graduates talking about their experience in the school, how proud they are in French and in English, fluent, eloquent. It's really, really impressive. You can tell that they've gotten themselves a sound education, and you can tell that they're proud of the education that they got. They don't owe anybody any apology for having gotten their education surplus there in Cameroon. So you're doing a fantastic job. So what is your vision? What's your dream? Where would you like to see ICT be in the next 5-10 years? What are you hoping to achieve?
ICT University is about to establish something very exciting called the ICT Daycare, the ICT Nursery School, the ICT Primary School, and the ICT Secondary and High School.
Oh, wow.
This will be when your baby is born, you can bring them there and they will be able to be integrated in the ICT world from their childhood. You know, because some of us had the best childhood education, thanks to your mom and several other people. I'm a proud product of Mrs. MBIWAN. I'm so excited about her. It was my headmistress in primary school. But you know, that discipline they gave us back then, it's what is really paying off even to this day. And so their legacy live on. So we want to get ICTs from the primary level all the way to university. It's like we started at the top there, but want to go back to the roots.
Right.
So our goal is for Africa, to the continent in general, to really lead the way eventually into the best practices of using technology to come out of poverty in one way or another. So that's really the goal. So we'll be establishing in all the corners of Africa. We have a presence in East Africa, we have a presence in Central Africa, and in West Africa. Our next move is to have a presence in Southern African region and North Africa. So we have 2 more parts of the continent to go to.
Right. And then you'll be up. That is such a wonderful dream. And I will join in the prayers that dream should succeed.
Oh, yes, we need a lot of prayers. Yes.
The way, I've heard you talk, and I've heard you say, by the grace of God, I've been counting. If I was counting, then I lost count of the number of times I heard you say, by the grace of God, and I was saying to myself, each time you say that, I'll say amen, amen.
Yes.
And that is how I believe that if the bedrock is that, then there is a bright future for ICT. May its dreams be fulfilled for the betterment of that continent of ours, which is lacking specifically in those areas, definitely. And you know what? Now let's go to it. Since you went personal and mentioned my mom. You remember I was asking you when I got to meet you just 2 days ago about your dad. That's a name. Yes. I recognize the name.
Yes.
I asked you about your dad, and that's somebody that I knew back in our days in Yaoundé there. He had a printing press, right?
That's right. Yeah, he has a printing press, still wakes up at 4 a.m. and works like a 25-year-old, but he's in his 80s now.
Right.
Works very, very hard. He's my hero and my mentor. He's my, humanly is my everything.
He raised you right. He sure did.
Yes.
He raised you right. We also had a MBARIKA in Seka Baptist College. Is that any relative of yours?
Yes, Janet MBARIKA. Yes.
Janet, yes.
Oh, you know her? Yes.
She was in my aunt.
I mean, biologically she's my aunt, but she's an elder sister to me.
I know what you mean by that, because we all have them. So she was in Form 5 and I was in Form 1.
Oh my goodness, small world. I will have to send this video to her.
Please do. With all my love and my greetings. And she was one of the good ones. It was not punishing people at all and that kind of thing. Very pleasant to be around.
Even to this day, very calm going, sweetest. She's my, I know I may get in trouble for this. She's absolutely my sweetest aunt of all. But my dad raised her, so she's like an elder. She's an elder sister.
That's how African families are. I have aunties that are like big sisters to me too as well, because they were all raised in the same home. Look at it's a really, really small world. I looked at the name and I said, hey, this is a name I know, because back from the Presbyterian Church in Yaoundé days, the Jongolo days, I remember.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. He was an elder at that Jongolo Presbyterian Church for 25 years. Yes.
Same as my mom till she moved back to Limbe. She was an elder there from forever, from the 70s right through to the early 80s when she moved. So you see, we're ending on a happy, joyous note. It has been such a pleasure, and we cannot talk about everything here. Listeners, viewers, you know it. There's no way we could have talked about everything in the limited amount of time we have here, but I'm sure you have heard enough, you have seen enough to actually go now and research this. And when you're considering options, be you here in the States, be you anywhere else in the world, consider ICT. And anywhere else, even let us talk about the continent of Africa itself, you have options. It's not only a matter of sponsoring your relatives out there, you yourself can go and find yourself a program that you can take cheaper with the same value. How is that not a win-win situation? Absolutely. So I get myself a certification that is going to be valid here where I am in the States, but for a fraction less. That is something which I'm sure people should jump on, and you check it out for yourself. You don't have to take my word. You don't have to take his word for it. So check it out for yourself. He told you already, ictuniversity.edu.cm. You'll find it.
Or they can just send us an email to admissions, in plural, admissions@ictuniversity.edu.cm. C for Cameroon, M for Cameroon, CM, Cameroon.
Correct. And if you went to YouTube too, you will find the videos there. If you go to Facebook, you will find them there. Instagram, you will find it there. So you don't have any excuse to say, okay, I did not know. You don't even have to keep calling me and say, hey, what's that address again? You said, you just go your own self. On your cell phone, there, on your tablet, on your anything, and look it up. You will see that we're not just making noise. His favorite word is bep bep.
Aha, I like that.
In my day, there was also called ho ho ho. No, really ho ho ho. It's the real deal. So you're a busy man, because while you're here, it's not as if you're just here on vacation, right? You actually are a certified professor lecturing where?
Yeah, I'm a professor at East Carolina University in Greenville, in the state of North Carolina, just like you. Exactly. And so we are both in the teaching profession.
Right.
Yes, but I travel to different African countries just about every 2 to 3 months.
That's interesting. You are just one amazing person doing amazing things for our country and amazing things for Africa. I'm so proud of you. Trust me, your headmistress, if she's watching by some wonderful means, she should be sitting there and say, I did a good job. Yes. So should your dad. So very, very proud of you. This big sister is very proud of the person that.
Amen. Thank you. I'm so grateful. Thank you for inviting me to your show. I really appreciate it.
Right. For me, the pleasure is mine. The honor really is mine to showcase this, so people know that it's not all that we keep on hearing only the bad stories, the things that are not going right, but there's something going super right here that we just heard about.
And I'll be supporting the Secretariat's 60th anniversary. I've already offered 1.5 million francs for your celebration.
So you're almost going to let go without mentioning that big deal. That is.
I need to. I'm gonna be contributing 1.5 million for your 60th anniversary, because I've heard so much about the Secretariat. It's such a pride to just interact with any Secretariat. So
starting from your auntie, Sister Jeanette, now you have a big sister right here. And
absolutely.
Thank you. Anything that is going for our alma mater, for our beloved alma mater, we thank you for it. We thank you for that. Look at that. Thank God I did not close this show without that very, very important bit of information.
I had to chip that in.
Thank you for doing that. God bless you. I also said God bless you, petit frère. That's what I should call you.
Amen. Thank you, sis.
And more power to ICT. May it keep growing from strength to strength.
Thank you so much.
All right then. So you take care now.
Thank you. God bless.
God bless. Bye now.
Bye-bye.